they are real and they are evil. So the big question is this: where do demons come from? And there are basically three theories. The first one is this: that they have come from a pre-Adamic race. Before Genesis 1 story, there was a gap. This is what the belief is, that there's a gap between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. You can go back and read that yourself. I think Genesis 1:1 is, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth, and then they believe there's a gap, and said the earth was formless and void. And what they believe is that God had created a first civilization, a first earth in a sense. But Satan and his fallen angels came down, they wrecked it, they caused chaos, and it was destroyed. And those who died during the first civilization, they're the ones that became demons, all right? I don't hold to that, but there's some wonderful people that do, so I understand that. That's what they call the gap theory. But there's a second theory, and it's this: that they're fallen angels, that demons are actually fallen angels. We know that some are chained up. Go back to my video on the Giants 101. It talks about that. And we know that some are loose. But what we're going to do, not in this video, but probably in the next video, we're going to compare fallen angels in the Bible to demons or unclean spirits in the Bible, and you will see that they're different characteristics. There's a third theory, and this is kind of the one that I hold to, and that they are evil spirits. And these evil spirits are the spirits of the dead Nephilim, the dead giants who died during the flood. So I think you can see that demons are connected to the dead giants. Remember, the dead giants have a supernatural element to them. They are half angel DNA and half human DNA. The 2nd century or Second Temple Jews believed this and taught this. The early church fathers and the congregates also believed this and taught this. Historians like Josephus not only taught this, they recorded this in their writings. And then you go to the book of Enoch, and we know the book of Enoch is not in the canonical text. We understand that it's not in the inspired Bible, but we know that they used it as history, and we know that Jude quotes it, Peter quotes it, and we know that the apostles and those living in those early years, they read it. Enoch also reveals the same thing, that these demons are the spirits of the dead Nephilim who died during the flood. The Bible has very strong circumstantial evidence of where demons come from. Second question, are they real? Yes. The Bible is overwhelmed with verses that speak of demons and gives us stern warnings, as well as in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. I think evil spirits is mentioned 10 times. Unclean spirits is mentioned 21 times. Foul spirits 2 times. Familiar spirits, which is going to be important for later in this video, it's mentioned 10 times. And we know that when we look through the Bible, there seems to be 14 different spirits. And there's probably a lot more. Maybe you can find a lot more. But the Bible teaches pretty much 14 different spirits. There's a spirit of divination. The spirit of divination, saw it in the book of Acts, is the able to foretell the future. Okay, demons kind of know where things are going, so it's in that sense. There's a familiar spirit. A familiar spirit is a demon that is close to a person or a medium, a witch or necromancer or wizard. All right. A lying spirit. There's a perverse spirit. There's a spirit of heaviness. That's a depression. There's a spirit of adultery, a spirit, what we call spirit of whoredom. There's a deaf and dumb spirit. Jesus cast that spirit out. There's a spirit of idolatry, a spirit of fear. There's a spirit of seducing, the seducing spirits. We'll look at that too today. There's a spirit of antichrist, a spirit of error. There's a spirit of death, a spirit of bondage. And Jesus even cast out spirits of infirmity, and that was sicknesses as well. Now, before Genesis 6, there is no mention of evil spirits. Then after the flood, the Bible is filled with the existence of demons or unclean spirits, spoken of in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. So when the giants died in the flood, their spirits were released from their bodies, and they became disembodied spirits, what we would call unclean spirits. Now, don't ever forget that they're descended from evil, vile, and wicked fallen angels. They're evil. Who are they? They're wicked. They're malevolent. They're sullen. They're violent. They're destructive. They hate mankind. They're jealous of humans. And demons are full of unrepressed rage. They're insane. They bother people. They want to drive people to insanity. They can inflict physical pain. They lie. They cause division between races and groups and churches and family members. And they vary in wickedness and in power. So hang on to that statement, because the third question is this: what did Jesus say about demons? Matthew 12, verse 43 through 45. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, seeking rest, and finds none. Then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it empty, swept, and put in order. Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits, watch, more wicked than himself. You see, their demons vary in wickedness and they vary in power. There's some that are stronger than others. So this demon that was cast out comes back into the body, and he brings with himself 7 other spirits more wicked than himself. They enter and dwell there, and the last state of that man is worse than the first state. Jesus says, so shall it be also with this wicked generation. So Jesus says right here, demons are disembodied spirits. They come in different powers, right? Some are stronger than others. And if you get rid of a demon, you need to fill your life back up with good things, with godly things, Christian things. You need to get saved. You need salvation. You need Jesus is Lord. You got to refill that. Now listen to what Jesus said in Luke 24:39. He just resurrected. He came down and appeared to the disciples. Behold my hands and my feet, that it is I myself. Jesus says, look at me, handle me, and see. He says, for a spirit does not have flesh and bones, as you see I have. Jesus is saying an unclean spirit is a disembodied. No, it does not have a body. It needs a home. It is wandering. It is seeking rest. One more scripture, Mark 5. Although look at verse 1 and 2 and verse 8 through 13. You know, this is the classic story of a man who was demonized, who was demon-possessed. He lived in the tombs. He would cut himself and cried out, and no rest, and he would violent. Nobody could restrain him. Listen to what it says in Mark 5. Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. And when he had come out of the boat, immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. And he said to him, Jesus did, come out of the man, unclean spirit. Then he asked him, what is your name? And he answered, saying, my name is Legion, for we are many. A Roman legion consisted of between 3,000 and 6,000 troops. So we pretty much know there are thousands of demons living in this man. Also, he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. Now there was a large herd of swine that was feeding, the Bible says. They were near the mountains, so all the demons begged him. Listen to what they said. They said, send us to the swine that we may enter them. And Jesus gave them permission. The reason why, the Bible said that there's coming a time where they will be in the abyss, the bottomless pit, and they will be in torment. But the time had not come. So Jesus gave them permission and let them do it. And the unclean spirits went out, entered the swine. There were about 2,000. And the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea and drowned in the sea. Disembodied spirits, looking for rest, looking for a home, wandering in dry places seeking. Demons want a body so that they can feel, so they can touch, so they can enjoy life, enjoy food and sex and all of that, just like they did when they were the Nephilim. And they can experience this through people. And you know what? We even see that demons can possess animals as well. They've never been to hell, and they've never been to torment or have torment, because that day is coming. It's not coming yet. And what's really crazy is they seem to have restrictions to give it to them by God. It's almost like God has given them some kind of boundaries. I'm not quite sure, but it's kind of inferred there, some restriction that they can do this and do that and not allowed to go a certain place or a certain way. Angels are not disembodied spirits. They have celestial bodies and they can manifest in the terrestrial. I mean, there's a verse in Hebrews that said some have entertained angels unaware. So angels have appeared to people in human form. You go all the way through the Bible, Genesis 18, 19, all through the Bible. Angels have come down and appeared as human beings. They ate food. They had all their parts working, everything. So we know that they can do that. Fallen angels are in operation in the heavenly realms. Demons are here on the earth. The 2nd century Jews called them the Tamu Nephil. The Tamu Nephil. 2 words. Tamu means dead or buried. Nephal is singular, the fallen ones or the giant. You translate it, they called demons the dead Nephilim or the dead Nephal. Pretty obvious. So what are their intentions? Well, demons have come to entice people to sin, to keep people away from God and from Jesus. They bring people to suicide and to kill. That's kind of an ultimate goal for them. They have come to destroy believers' testimonies and make you ineffective, to make believers doubt their salvation or doubt their testimony, to disrupt and destroy churches, to make churches ineffective. They love religion. Oh, Jesus cast demons out. Many demons were cast out of the synagogue. So they love religion, but they hate Christianity. They come to possess humans, to oppress humans, to wreak havoc and chaos. In some situations, they come and even bring disease and illness. And we know, especially in these last days, they are coming to entice false teachers to teach doctrines of demons. 1 Timothy 4, verse 1 and 2. Now the Spirit speak expressly in the latter times, in the last days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of demons, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron. Now, just before we close, familiar spirits. This is all through the Old Testament and the New Testament. Familiar spirits are active today. They work with mediums, witches, and necromancers, people who speak for the dead. You go see a psalmist or a medium and say, can you conjure up my Uncle Bill or Uncle Aunt Sally, all right? Now watch. The familiar spirit knows people and knows families. They know their desires, their lusts, they know their issues, good and bad. And demons will speak through channelers and mediums. So you think you're talking to the dead Uncle Bill or Aunt Sally who passed away years ago. No, you're talking to a demon and an unclean spirit who is impersonating that dead relative. Hebrews 9:27, as it is appointed for man once to die, after this the judgment. So Aunt Bill, Aunt Sally is either in heaven or hell. When you die, you either go to heaven or you either go to hell. The Bible's really, really clear about that. So what you think is your Uncle Bill or Aunt Sally is really a demon impersonating them. That's called a familiar spirit. All right. Hey, thank you so much for listening today, watching. Hope you like and subscribe and share and look for the future. Look for biblical giants and mythology and the difference between angels and demons, which will be coming out in the future. Thanks.